Welcome to your doom.
I think the reason that the breathing is coming through is that for whatever reason today you have some kind of whistle going on when you breathe it. It's all that coke you're doing. That brings me to this weird anecdote. Have you ever seen a movie called The Salton Sea?
What?
It's one of my favorite movies, actually. It's with Val Kilmer and Vincent D'Onofrio and Peter Sarsgaard. And,
Good cast. Good cast.
Yeah, really good cast. And it's one. I think it was in that era. It was kind of like, you had those series of Quentin Tarantino sort of knockoff films. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. You ever heard about that? Oh, okay, yeah. So like that kind of movie, Suicide Kings, and then you got the Boondock Saints, like those types of like gritty, sort of quirky crime drama things. So that's what one of this. But Vincent D'Onofrio's in it. And he's playing a character who doesn't have a nose. He's got no nose. So he's a fake prosthetic nose on his face. And when I say prosthetic, it's just like a brown, leathery sort of thing covering up the hole in his face.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was
it's not like
before the time of Voldemort, so I figured it'd probably be harder to pull that shit off.
No, he's just wearing this thing. And on the special features on the DVD, which I watched a lot of in the commentary and everything, the director was like, Vincent came up to him and was like, look, I think since he's missing a nose, he should have this weird breathing, whistling pattern thing. So whenever he's talking, he's always like kind of gasping for breath, but every time he takes in a breath, he sounds like someone blowing like a whistle. So that's what that reminds me of. When you were breathing like that, I'm like, you sound like the Vincent D'Onofrio character from The Salton Sea. But if you haven't seen that movie, you should check it out. It's pretty good. And Val Kilmer's great in it.
Look, man, I've got so many. Oh, by the way, I guess we've kind of started. Do you want to keep that in?
Sure.
Yeah. Go see The Salton Sea. Also, this is the Welcome to Your Doom show.
Yes.
I'm Justin.
I'm Atul, and can you believe it? We've been doing this nonsense for 50 episodes. This is
50 plus, really, when you break down the Dewey Decimal System as Ajay so accurately put it.
That was a dumb idea.
I hated that so much. Being the one to edit it, because editing
that was
it,
a dumb idea.
And
I'm pretty sure that was my idea.
Oh, it absolutely was. From an editing standpoint, it's not hard to edit. Obviously, you just cut the audio halfway through. Yeah. It's just the shitty part of like a podcast where you jump in part way, like the start is like halfway through the discussion. It's just like I was just like, we gotta not do this anymore.
And you know what? Podcast applications. If anybody's, for the 6 listeners of our show out there who have been supporting us through these 50 episodes, thank you kindly from us to you. We really appreciate the listenership. But they're listening on apps that are built for podcasts. So where you left off is remembered.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even if an episode is 3 hours long,
it
really actually, it obviously there's a certain need to have logical end points and beginning points. That's why we have episodes.
Yeah.
But we
we'll just be here for days.
we're just sitting.
We're never ending.
Yeah, we're just never leave. And it's just a talk show that goes on until the cows come home.
Moo.
So
I mean, I'm a subscriber to like Joe Rogan Experience, Your Mom's House.
You were just about to make your mom joke.
No. Your Mom's House.
I'm subscribed to Joe Rogan,
Christina Pajitsky's.
I've subscribed to your mother as well. Yes,
and like Fighter and the Kid, like all these podcasts, and they're mostly comedy podcasts, so they're easy to jump in and out of.
Sure.
I found that like I did what was Serial? I did Serial. That was really hard to jump in and out of like midway through because when you come back, you're like, fuck, where did I just leave off?
That's right.
But I find with like these comedy podcasts or like the more comedic Joe Rogan episodes, it's easier to jump back in, especially like you said, it remembers where you left off. So like for me, I know the general theme is like keep your podcast around 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something. Like there's all these kind of like suggestions as to what makes a popular podcast.
And certainly people consume in a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I keeping it short and tight, that's one way to do it, but long form works as well.
Yeah.
That was the idea about the Dewey Decimal System, like breaking up Wonder Woman into two, breaking up what was it, the Dark Tower into two. So and also one was spoilers, one was not, and then we found sort of as we were doing this, it's like I think it makes a little more sense, and people are people if they're listening to the episode, they kind of just want to hear, they want to hear it.
Yeah, like, full brain dump, basically.
So no need to split that thing out. Just, with the spoiler thing, we're usually pretty good about when we dive into spoilers on any reviews that we do.
Unless I've been drinking. Yeah. There have been times where I'm just like, all right, listen, we need to talk about this. You're like, okay, I guess we're in spoilers now.
Yeah.
Whoops. My bad.
So, yeah. And you've been going to meetings for that. So
I have.
I think you've
got it under control.
Yeah. Got it under control. So I'm glad that we did away with that. But there were a couple episodes we did at the beginning. Have you gone back and listened to any of the
the very first one
or first two? Like I think the first one was that the game?
That was Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yeah. I haven't gone back and heard it in a long time. I think I should go and do that because that was like an hour and a half or 2 hours because we basically reviewed the game and the story. So
we went through the whole thing. I mean, it's definitely there's been an evolution, so to speak, which is cool. Like it's kind of cool to revisit that. It's not like I'm constantly listening to our own podcast, but that being said, it's hilarious when I do. So I usually so when I'm editing it, right?
Yeah,
I'll try and it's hard sometimes trying to get stuff out on Mondays at the time that I want to get it out at. Yeah. Sometimes I don't get to listen to it all the way through the way times I do. But what I like to do is after I've done editing it, I'll export an MP3, put it on my phone, and I'll actually listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
Because I've actually got a pretty good speaker system in the car that gives me a really good
idea
of how it sounds. But the bitch of editing things I find is that the podcast sounds so much different coming through these earbuds versus my Bose headphones versus the car. So trying to listen to on all the different spectrums reveals sometimes that like, oh, this doesn't work on this because it's too loud or these sounds pop too much or whatever. I'm trying to remember what the episode was. What was one? I think it was a couple episodes back, and there was something bad with the audio levels. I ended up exporting a brand new take of it and just uploaded it straight away because it sounded like I did the check after. I'm like, how the fuck did I release this?
Yeah.
And I listened on my heads, like the Bose headphone, like the over-the-ear headphones. I'm like, oh, it does sound kind of good, but when you put in these, they sound like dog shit.
Yeah.
So I had to read.
Yeah, I guess there's stuff that has less dynamic range. Some of their higher frequencies are going to take over.
Yeah.
They're going to overrun the rest of the sound. So. But yeah, I mean, you do all the editing on the show. You do the video edits for YouTube.
Yeah.
All I do is the thumbnails.
I think you drive. You're more the idea guy in terms of driving some of this stuff. Because like, here's the thing. I find I don't read a lot of this stuff. Like, I keep an eye on certain types of news, but I feel like you have a much more broader range of topics that you can find and we can riff on. Plus, I'm funnier.
Yeah.
So
that what I'm not gonna bark up that tree.
I'll let you set him up and I'll knock him down.
Because we've been told by many people, and by many people I mean those 6 listeners,
8 at least.
Yeah. that you are pretty funny, and I mean, I was gonna segue into this.
Isn't your mom one of those 8 listeners?
She's listened to 1 or 2 of the episodes.
What does she think of my comedy stylings?
She didn't have anything to say about your comedy stylings, but she did ask me what it was we were talking about after listening to it for an hour. So
that's great.
I mixed reviews from the parents.
Oh dear.
But we do have a couple friends that listen to the show and will message me, and like that's cool. That's a cool feeling to have somebody listen to the show, message me and be like, oh, hey, I like this. This was funny, or even like I disagree with you about this thing, like
Right,
if you're reviewing something. Or say, hey, that recommendation you made, I went and checked it out. And, you know, like that hasn't happened a ton, but, you know, it's happened enough where it's like even just once or twice over the course of 50 episodes, I'm like, hey, we do this for fun.
Yeah.
Right. And if you get that kind of, even that's just like modicum of feedback, it's like, oh, that is actually ultimately like gravy.
Absolutely.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, like the fact that we're able to do this for fun. And, we have day jobs, and, this is obviously not our job, but like, we have the time, we have, we're comfortable enough to take time out of our schedule to do this. I think that we're actually really lucky to be able to like carve time out to make this happen. And after 50 episodes, it's like, oh, wow, 50 episodes of this. And it's been like a ton of fun.
It's been fun. It's been a good learning experience too. Like from an audio engineering perspective, which I use the term for myself very fucking loosely. But you're not an engineer. No, good Lord, no. But it's been really interesting to like try and put this together, understand what it takes to put out a podcast. Sorry, I just kind of threw a pee into the mic. So yeah, trying to understand kind of what it takes to put out a podcast is there's work. Like it's kind of tricky at first, but like once you realize that really all it is one big static feed, like really putting out any episode is you got to just throw the audio up on a server somewhere that can be accessed publicly on the internet.
Yep.
And then you put out an RSS feed, which is basically just a description of your podcast and where all these audio files live, and then it can go everywhere. You feed that exact same file to iTunes, to Google Play, to Spotify, all these different places which we're hosted on.
Yeah.
And it's really simple. And then your server has to be able to handle the number of requests that we get, which ours is fine.
Hasn't been a problem.
AWS is very easy to set up, and it has been very good to me so far.
We haven't broken AWS yet. Our traffic hasn't hit those numbers.
Not quite.
But we aim to get there.
Yeah.
It would be a nice problem to have. I have a couple of moments. Like, do you have any favorite moments over the last 50 episodes? Because I have a few moments where I think they are absolutely hilarious. Like the one that I actually keep coming back to is the Aquaman episode. I can't remember what the number was, but the Aquaman episode with the black manta thing with the manta knife, like that one, like to this day, like still kills me. Like I'm like you said, I don't go back and listen to our episodes after we've released them that often. But I think you released a clip on YouTube.
Yeah, I did.
Of the video of that, and it's just that section. And I just go back and watch that because it's so funny. You could even cut that into this episode.
Yeah.
This is before Manta is Black Manta. He's still a pirate. He's just a pirate.
Yeah. That being said, they really pushed that whole Manta thing hard.
Yeah,
with
a knife.
Your grandfather's name was Manta. Here's his Manta knife. I'm gonna need you to be a Manta Day.
I can't.
Anyways, yeah, they did that a lot with nicknames or code names in this movie too. Like even the Ocean Master stuff. Every time Orm said Ocean Master, if you get all four of them, you're going to be the Ocean Master. Like, come on, guys. Like
if you're so like, but just that moment is so funny. I had guys messaging me saying that they thought that was really hilarious, and I'm like, you thought it was hilarious? I could barely breathe during that scene. It was so funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like I thought our Alien Covenant review was pretty good.
That was fun.
That was a fun one.
The amount of disagreement between the two of us was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think one of my favorites was when Antoine was on the episode when we were reviewing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right.
And when he said Blade the first movie, I almost dropped my mic. Like, I need to leave.
Yeah,
like,
that was
that couldn't have been a better response.
That was a huge moment. Yeah, I remember that.
That was so good.
That was a fun episode. That was a really,
yeah.
really fun episode.
Actually, speaking of good feedback, too, and this is a shout out to Antoine, he messaged me recently, and he's like, yo, I just listened to the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. I just spent like $40 on Amazon. I bought the Blu-ray and a bunch of the books.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
Sick. Awesome.
That's the kind kind of feedback that's so rewarding.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it, Antoine. I hope you enjoyed it.
I haven't talked to him since. Yeah, maybe I'll reach out to him.
Yeah.
It would be good to have him on an episode soon too. He's just fun
That's
overall
right.
to listen to. Plus, he can give me parenting tips.
Oh,
soon to
that's
be
true.
parenting tips.
That's right. You are. Nisha is pregnant. Yeah.
She is. I'm going to be a terrible father.
I mean, I don't disagree.
You
with
were
that
supposed
assessment.
to like pick me back up on that one, man.
I'm
Nothing?
gonna kick you while you're down.
God damn it.
Honestly, I think you're gonna be a great dad. I think it's hilarious that you're gonna be a dad.
That is-
think that that in and of itself is sort of like same thing happened when my brother had kids.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Stacy's pregnant, and I'm like, you're gonna be a dad? Like, what?
I know.
And it's so funny because that's the reaction I would have. Even if we were ever to have kids, I'd have that reaction to myself.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm gonna be dad. That's just crazy.
I kind of had that reaction at first, but I haven't had that yet. Really, like to that realization yet. 'Cause we don't know the gender yet.
That's
when
right.
I know the gender, I'm gonna fucking freak out.
I think I guess it becomes real.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's like
when
it's a real
I
thing.
feel like when you start having real tasks, like right now, it's like doctor's appointments and shit.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Sure.
But when it's like, hey, you need to paint this wall blue or pink or whatever the fuck, it's like, oh shit,
wow,
this shit's real.
It's real.
I now have jobs. I gotta go
Yeah.
stock up on diapers.
That's the big real. That's the big. I love that. I'm about to have a kid, and the worst thing about it is all the manual labor I have to do.
God damn it, it's not gonna be fun.
That's right.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about this because it just popped in my mind. You have a very serious problem with gender reveal parties.
Okay, so that night I want to preface this story with the fact that I had been
Or preface, as most people would say.
preface if
Pre-face,
yeah.
before my face.
preface if you're some kind of Neanderthal. I had been drinking heavily that day, and it was maybe 2:30 in the morning in my living room. And that was the day of the Halloween carving party, which we should talk about in a moment.
We'll talk about it,
But in general, I was just it's just the whole sort of pomp sort of thing that happens around gender reveals. You really put me on the spot here.
I know. That's why I did it.
I'm trying to figure out what how to crystallize my feelings on this. It just feels like a lot of it just feels vain and kind of like a lot of hoopla for. It's like if you want to have a party, have a party. This just seems to be like too much ceremony around something that I don't think is worth it. I guess. I don't know. We're gonna cut this out of the episode.
I'm keeping this in. Here we go. Okay, no.
God. It's okay. Look, I know what you would say because I think you told me that night, and I'm like, that's a fair argument, but I still hate him. And I can't. The problem is not like we probably lost 40% of our viewers just now.
No, because they know that they're going to agree with whatever I'm going to say.
I mean like two of them.
Listen,
people.
It's one of those things. It totally is an excuse for a party, but at the same time, I get. You know what's kind of cool about it is you can get a bunch of people in a room that you all care about, and including the parents, find out what the gender of the child is together, and everybody can share that moment. You're basically sharing a really cool moment with all your friends and family.
Okay. No, I get that. I just don't think that is a moment.
It is for the parents.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't like. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter whether it's a boy or a girl. It's going to be one or the other. And
before this podcast, you said if you have a girl as your firstborn, you're gonna leave.
I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, I'm not parenting this kid. I'm outta here.
No, yeah. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
That was when, when you say before this podcast, you mean before we were on the mic here?
Yeah, 2 seconds ago.
No. What I said was I used to think that when I was younger, when we were used to talk about this in university, or if I have a girl, I'm not gonna.
I was kidding. I was just gonna go with the fact that you would completely abandon a daughter.
Oh no.
I'm out of here.
No. Yeah, but when I was younger, I was definitely less mature, and I'm like, if I have a girl, I don't want to deal with that, and I'm gonna whatever.
Oh,
but
I probably said that.
But now certainly it doesn't. Obviously, it doesn't matter. That's kind of why the gender reveal. I'm kind of like, somebody could just As soon as I could find out, I'd find out. It's a machination. It's like a part of the process, and I kind of feel like it's kind of like not a special thing because I just got to know, and then I know what to do like later. And I don't even think it changes a lot of what I would do, but it's just one piece of information before. So that's kind of why, and how elaborate they can get. Like there's like cakes and there's like fucking like golf things. I've seen one of those where like you swing the golf into like a puff of blue smoke or and I'm like, this is just getting crazy. I just think it's
I had a pretty innovative idea, didn't I?
You know what? I told you I was drinking. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember.
It was
what
the
you
slap
said.
reveal.
Oh, God. Look, man.
What?
If you want to slap somebody, don't make it a gender reveal. Just go and slap them like a man.
No. What I'll do, I think I've revised it because it involved hitting the mother, and I thought that was probably not in the best taste. But what I'll do, or what somebody could do to me, is they take paint and they dip their hand in it. And whatever color's on my face after they slap me upside the head, that's the child. And then everybody could be like, yay, and I'll be like, ah! Now that's a gender reveal party you'd be excited to go to.
That one. If we're gonna draw from a hat who gets to do that, and I get to put my name in that hat, 100% you've got me. I'm coming. If I even have a 0.1% chance,
hey man,
of
I'll
being
give
able
you the
to
paint
of open hand slapping you in the face.
Again?
I'm always because I got a taste of it that first time. Let me tell you, I've been thinking about it ever since.
I'm pretty sure I have that video like literally on this phone somewhere. The
Yeah,
only
on
reason I
this
haven't posted it anywhere is because I'm definitely shirtless.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
was on the beach.
That could do wonders for our viewership, but I don't know if you're ready for that kind of exposure.
Nah. I'm sure there's worse.
Anyway, I'm not sure how we got onto this, other than the fact that you lobbed this grenade over into my lap.
Yeah, I pulled the pin.
Thank you.
No
thank you for that.
No, I get it. I get your perspective. I like the idea of I've been to good gender reveal parties. I guess that's why. Like,
sure, yeah.
No,
I've never been to.
If you say you've never been to one, I'm going to beat you with this microphone.
Have we been to the same one before?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's possible I've never.
No, I meant like you're poo-pooing the whole idea, and you're like, no, I've never been to one.
No, I feel like I've been to one. It might have been my brother's.
Yeah,
and I probably told him the same thing, and he's just like, "Shut up, you old man."
So here's my question to you, because this is the predicament we're in. We want to do a party like that. However, there's no goddamn way we're going to find out with everybody else. We're going to find out well in advance.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, it only makes sense. You just and let's just have a party.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It'll be like a gender telling party. Like,
they come in, it's a girl. Like, that's it. I mean, like, and that's the party.
Maybe we'll turn it into a slap game. You come in, you say what it is, and if you're wrong, I slap you.
Okay, look, listen, man.
I just want to slap somebody, man.
It's clear that all you want to do is slap people.
How can she slap?
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
let's get off this tangent.
Episode 50, off to a great start. We had a sort of Halloween, sort of pumpkin carving party last week.
Yeah.
Before Halloween on Saturday. So it's actually November. We're recording this on the 3rd. Right?
Yeah.
Is today the 3rd?
It is the 3rd.
And that was a ton of fun. I don't know. I had a great time. It was at my house. We did it outside. Everybody brought a pumpkin and we carved them all. We've done this for the last 2 years. First year, it was raining profusely. Second year, it snowed.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had to do all of it in the garage. And this year, the forecast said rain, and wind for Saturday. I'm like, oh, my God, like, we're going to have to do it in the garage again. But then the rain held off, and I was able to light the fire pit, and it wasn't too windy. So we were able to just, like, carve the pumpkins, like, drink outside on the tables. We have a few pictures. We'll probably put them up with the post in the show notes. And we had the drinks outside. We had the pumpkin ales, which we're still drinking. I still have a few bottles left. And whenever anybody got cold or whatever, they go and sit by the fire. And we did almost the whole day outside, which was really great. That's exactly what I wanted. It started raining a bit later, but by then we had already carved all the pumpkins, took all the pictures and all of that. So it was a lot of fun. I ended up with like 7 or 8 pumpkins.
I took my pumpkin home.
Yeah, you
fuck
did.
you.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Everyone
needed
has
it,
the
though.
option for, if you want to take it home. Otherwise, I'll just put it on the porch. So I've become that house on the street that always has like 7 pumpkins on the porch. And but yeah, it was like so much fun. I had a really great time. We ended up watching a movie later that night called Head Count, which I actually I enjoyed. And I feel like I got mixed reviews from everyone. I don't think people hated it, but I don't think they liked it as much as I did.
I think a couple people were being nice, but I was adamant about how little I liked that goddamn movie.
Really? I was really surprised. I thought it would have better play. I thought it was a really unique movie. Like,
it was
the
a cool
premise
idea.
was very
you know what?
unique.
It was a cool idea. It's just there was 0 people to root for in the entire cast. Like,
sure, yeah.
So when the movie started off, I'm like, fuck this guy. And then his brother comes. I'm like, this guy's even worse. I hope he dies next. And then a bunch of other people come. And I'm like, all of these people are fodder. Where's the brother?
Yeah. So
because every other character just kept coming into the picture and got less and less likable. So I was like, I fucking hate everybody. Why is there not enough people killing people? And then when the villain comes around, everything becomes, all I'll say is everything's really easy. And because of that, it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what was the point? I didn't really know how to feel about anything at the end of the movie.
So just so the listeners kind of get an idea of what this movie is, it takes place in like Joshua Tree, and like they a bunch of kids rent a house, and it's a good party movie because it's these kids, they're basically partying like you would if you rented a cottage or something, and basically they were reading ghost stories off the internet during a campfire scene. Yes. And during that scene, someone reads a story about a being that can change shape. And when he reads that story, this being basically visits them at the party. But the thing is, it's not a monster movie in the traditional sense. What the director does is
bore me to tears?
Yeah, well, I mean, it shows... I guess you could consider that. I consider it that. But basically, it shows how this creature infiltrates the party in weird ways, where it starts becoming other people and tricking people, like basically infiltrating the party slowly to split them up. And there's a scene that I absolutely love in this movie, which is a scene where they're playing Kings, and the camera is sitting in the middle of the table, and it keeps going back and forth with all of these kids playing Kings and drinking. And then the camera has gone back and forth maybe twice at this point, and you're kind of wondering as a viewer, like, what's going to happen here? And then in the background, like, so in the foreground, this one guy's turn, he lifts the card up and looks up. And then in the background, the same guy peeks out from around the corner. It's like, hey, guys, what's up? And so now there are 2 of them, and then the lights go out when that happens. And I'm like, it's ideas like that. And the whole movie's sort of like littered with that kind of really subtle sort of creeping horror, which I liked. I do agree with you in terms of just like emotional impact and like rooting for characters and stuff. It's not particularly like well written from a character standpoint. I just really like that unique, because I have never seen anything like that before.
True, yeah.
That's what attracted me to it.
That was genuinely an amazing moment. Like no holds barred. That was the best moment of the film for me. I think
that's probably the best moment.
But you know what, too? That film gets away with. I don't know. I guess like less for me. It didn't get away with it, but for a lot of the other people that were at the party, that it seemed like most people did enjoy it for the most part. I think the film gets away with that though because they have a couple of really good moments. Some neat lore, like
the
actual
lore is cool. Like the poem that he reads, and then he goes back and looking into the history to see like what has this happened to anybody else, like what they're experiencing, stuff like that. And there's some creepy moments there.
And then also the set design.
Yeah,
there was a lot of really cool set design. Yeah. Like it just seemed like kind of like I've never been to Joshua Tree. People have told me about it.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly kind of like what I would have pictured. And the house looked exactly like the type of house I would have pictured those people to get, like off of Airbnb or something like that. Yeah. And then when shit starts hitting the fan and things start getting kind of spooky, the house looks even cooler.
Yeah.
Like it keeps ramping up, which is interesting. Can we talk about kind of? I guess I don't know if we want to spoil anything on that because I had a kind of a problem with the end.
I think I had problems with the ending too,
Yeah.
and I think that's where most of the wheels fall off the wagon.
I'm talking the very end.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it won't ruin it for me. I'd still recommend it. I think it's a unique movie, but it does have its problems. It's not
Okay.
definitely not perfect. But if you want to see something a little bit different, but that's what attracted me to it. It's this the whole we rent cottages all the time.
Yeah.
Right. There's that is where everyone's sort of like playing drinking games and say, well, we do that all the time. Like whenever we go to cottages and there's lots of people, like 10, 12 people there.
Right.
And it just seemed like it was so relatable, at least on that level.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's
It's definitely
what-
a
that's
good
what-
group movie. Absolutely.
As far as like, yeah. So, but I do, the movie has problems. It's not perfect, but I'm interested to see what this director does next because it also looks really good, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a cool concept. I think the thing that really just fell flat for me was the character work. Other than that, I mean, I will shit on something more for the comical nature of the bad review.
Right.
But I mean, overall, this movie's definitely watchable. It has some redeeming characteristics about it. I agree with you. I think it's worth a watch, especially with a group.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of it again? Headhunter?
Head count.
Head count.
Yeah.
Head count.
So Halloween just passed. So
It
we
did.
had this party, and the setup I had here is very similar to what I had last year, except it was raining cats and dogs outside on Halloween, and it was
a bad
windy.
Halloween.
It was really just awful
Yeah.
out there. So I set up the singing pumpkin projection system inside the garage, and I was just sitting in the back with the blue light, just like with the bag with a bowl of candy and like just drinking pumpkin ales back there while waiting for people to. And we actually had plenty of kids come through. They're all soldiering through the rain. I gave them lots of candy.
Yeah.
They deserved it, man. They were soldiering through that weather. And in that regard, it was still fun. I still enjoyed it. I had the projection up in the bay window as well. So that was fun. It was fun to see kids like come up and watch the pumpkins and watch the projection in the bay windows. Like, it's nice. And it kind of had that reputation because they're like, oh, you did it again. You did, like, we came here to see the singing pumpkins. Like, kind of get that like neighborhood sort of like reputation,
Yeah.
which is cool. And certainly you've got that, right?
Oh,
you
boy.
did. How did it go this year?
It was different, in a good way and a bad way in times. So before I got into costume, so every year, i.e. the last year and this year, I dressed up as Michael Myers, and I got the speaker system outside blaring, i.e. the iLoud that Ajay so recommended way back in the day.
You still have the iLoud.
Dude, it still bumps, and it managed to have enough battery. Like, I charged it throughout the day, and it managed to hold its charge the whole time, so it was good. Anyways, so I've got music blaring. I'm dressed up as Michael Myers. I've got kind of a red floodlight that's really just illuminating the walls and stuff, so it looks kind of like a bloody, kind of scary kind of thing. But like, it's not as theatrical as I usually light it because it was raining everywhere, and I didn't want to put the lights in the rain, so it was a little different, but it was fine. I mean, the big selling point
Looks
is
great, man. Like that floodlight. Cause you bought that year you had your Halloween party, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I mean, it looks good. The big selling point's me in the costume, though, right? So before I got a chance to get dressed up, I think that's mine. Yeah.
Oh, we
were trying to fill
the
a
video
beer.
review. 100%, we got that wrong.
Instant replay.
Yeah.
So this year it was before I got dressed up, and we had some trick-or-treaters coming already,
Yeah.
right? And it was like 6:00 at that point. I think I'd just gotten off a conference call. And I'm giving out the candy, and these two girls, I think they must have been maybe 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's different this year. Yeah, it's like, oh, thank God he's not here. He's not out. Or I think she said something like, thank God it's not like last year. And I'm like,
Oh.
and I leaned in, I'm like, not yet. And then they're like, oh shit. And they run off. And then I got outside, and I mean, there was less
funny.
volume than we had last year.
For sure.
We
The
went
weather
through
was
like
bad.
sure, the weather. We went through like 4 boxes of candy this year. I think this year last year we went through about 4, maybe 5 boxes of candy. This year we went through 3 and a bit.
Are you
Sorry,
a,
2
are
and a
you
bit,
a
2 and a
one
bit.
candy
Two
giver?
at a minimum.
Okay.
Depending on the kids. Some kids come. Oh, we had this fucking little list, like probably 5 years old, and a kid did this last year too. It's hilarious. comes up to the door, trick or treat, and just walks into the house.
Wow, really?
So fun. And the parents are there just dying. I'm legitimately I'm in my Michael Myers costume, laughing my ass off. So all you see is just my shoulders going up and down. Like, it's just hilarious.
He just walked right in?
Yeah, it just walked right in. So yeah, we definitely did have some less volume this year, but we also had better reactions because I think because it was so spooky.
Yeah.
I had I think 3 groups of people that wouldn't make it past the stairs because they saw me up there and they're like, "Fuck that," and they didn't even bother. So last year I had one or two groups that did that, but this year was like 3, and I was like, good.
Yeah, that's
There was one teenage kid that wouldn't come up.
Wouldn't do it.
By the way, if you're listening to this at some point and you are my height and you're trick-or-treating, don't do that. Because if Nisha wasn't the one giving out candy, I would have opened the door and I would have opened a bag of Skittles and I would have put one Skittle in your bag and told you to fucking go buy your own candy. I'm sorry, I can't get on board with that shit.
You get a lot of big kids coming in?
Not a lot, but there was like a group of 3 kids. One of the ones didn't make it up the stairs because he was afraid.
Yeah.
Chicken shit. But the other 2 guys were like my height. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing trick-or-treating? Stop it. Anyways, so yeah, that's my PSA. But then I had another group. I had a lot of groups come up and want to take pictures and stuff, which is cool. I always pose for pictures. People, can we take a picture? I always nod because I'm in character.
You don't. No talking. The shape doesn't talk.
No, I don't talk. Sometimes I'll wave people over. Sometimes people get up to the top of the stairs and they're looking at me like, "Are you giving out candy?"
Yeah.
I point to the door. So sometimes they're like, "Do they want us to go into the house?" And I'm like, and then what I'll do is either I'll bang because I got a plastic knife, I'll bang on the railing to give them an idea to knock.
Yeah.
Or I'll just knock on the door myself. Like I'll just reach over and bang on the door real hard. And then that gives them an idea.
That's awesome.
But then I had this one group of teenagers come, and they were such a fucking pain in the ass. I've never had like this. I don't think I've ever had this experience with them with teenagers before like this, but like they would just like not go away. They're like give me daps or high five, and I never do that shit. Like, I'm just like I just kind of shaking the head slow or whatever. I point them to leave, something like that, right? And they're like, "You don't want no smoke. You don't want no smoke." They're talking like the kids from Attack the Block, which I'm assuming is like very UK type slang.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to these people. I'm like, "You guys don't even have an accent. What are you doing? Like, get the fuck off my property."
Yeah.
And they came back and they're like poking me and shit. And I'm like, "Yo,
really?
You need to leave." Like at a certain point, like I got in their face and just kind of like not saying anything. Accidentally poked somebody with the knife.
Accidental.
It was accidental because what had happened was, and plastic knife, no murder charges or anything like that, allegedly.
Yeah.
But what had happened was they reached up to what had happened. Basically, it was like a reactionary move on my part.
Yeah.
And their arm was there, and it just hit them on their arm.
Yeah.
And I don't know, nothing bad came of it because they were being somewhat aggressive too. So at some point they just fucked off, which was good.
Yeah.
But like. When it comes to that, like at a certain point, I'd rather just like walk away from the situation.
That's right.
Like go inside or something.
Yeah. I mean, Halloween brings out a lot of different types of like characters.
Yeah,
I think. Idiot
teenagers that shouldn't be trick or treating.
Yeah, and luckily it didn't get much of that on my end. It did get some bigger kids that came that showed up, but it was actually really funny because they showed up. They're like, "Oh my God. I hope you have good candy, man, because I am freezing." And I'm like, here it is. He's like, "Oh, totally worth it. Totally worth it." And then they walk. It was just like, I don't know. I had a pretty pleasant experience this year, but it kind of sucks that, they had that. But, I guess Halloween is like that. You get with Halloween being such a social event, it's essentially what it is, right? You get to know the people around you, basically, right? So
yeah, that's true.
You're bound to get some kind of deviant behavior on some level, and I don't know. You sounds like you handled it. So
I think I handled it. The good thing is, like, as annoying as the kids were being for a time, I think they just wanted to keep playing because at times I'd get in their face and scare them. Yeah. But like I wasn't getting in their face like aggressively. Yeah. It's just more like going for a scare.
That's right.
But the thing is after the first couple times, it's like, I'm not going to keep doing this with you guys. At a certain point, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they were kind of threatening me to some degree.
Yeah,
like, you don't know who we are. You don't know this and that. And I'm like, you're just posturing, but you shouldn't be saying this.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
And it was like girls, like 13-year-old girls. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Okay. That's
so,
funny.
yeah, it was a little off. That was a little bit off-putting because it's one of those things that you have no level of control, aside from taking the mask off and being like, get the fuck off my property or I'm calling the cops.
Yeah, I mean, the tough thing for you is that like you don't have any more room under your porch.
What?
You don't have any room for any extra bodies under your porch.
No,
I think
no,
that's
no,
really
no.
what really threw the wrench in the plan.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got a shed.
Yeah,
but that's also
usually
cool.
you just you
I
off them and then you bury them under the porch. You don't have any room, so now you got to call the cops. You don't want the cops there snooping around.
No, they can't do that. I'd like so next year what I'd like to do is get like a mannequin and dress him up as Michael Myers and then dress up as like a werewolf, and then when the kids go up, I would run around the side and go up the stairs and chase them up the stairs.
I feel like the word for this is the prestige.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's what this is. You
Absolutely.
basically set up a couple of years of where you are Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And then set up a mannequin that's convincing, that kind of looks, and then you scare them a different way.
Yeah.
We pulled this exact stunt. Did we talk about this on the show? I can't remember the last Halloween special that we did, like the first year we were doing this.
I don't know.
But
I don't even remember.
We basically we scared Nisha at your Halloween party.
Oh.
Did we? I don't know if we.
I don't know if we did.
But essentially, I'll try to make it quick. But it's a good one.
He's a good
An
one.
application of the book of prestige, if you will. Basically, you had a Halloween party, which was amazing that year, and we had your backyard was set up. We had a projector going with some movies, and we decided to stuff newspaper into coveralls and put Michael Myers mask on like a dummy, basically sitting on a camping chair in the backyard. And Nisha does not like that Michael Myers mask. She does not like horror movies. She does not like being scared in that way. She's a lot like Shagu, my wife. They share that in common. But what we had hatched, and I can't remember, I think it was Sanjay who had suggested it
Sanjay.
and was like, look. It's because you had said, Nisha pointed at things like, I don't like that thing.
Yeah.
And then Sanjay's like, here's what we're going to do. And this is the party is full tilt. We're mid-party. People are just, we're boozing. There's music. There's like, it's a shit show. It's in a good way. Sanjay's like, listen, we're going to empty the dummy of the newspaper. You're going to put on the covers and you're going to sit in the seat. Now that everyone knows that it's a dummy, we're going to swap you guys out and they won't see it coming.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember this because Andrea was like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So and Andrea grabbed the mannequin, went to the shed and ripped out all the newspaper. You changed the coveralls. I went inside. It was like, everybody, we're going to take a picture beside the Michael Myers dummy. And what we had also done was left some newspaper under the
under my collar,
under the thing. Oh, dude, it was so convincing.
Yeah.
It was so because you kind of like slumped down into the same sort of position. And everyone came out, right? And now here's what we were going to do. We were going to take a video and you were going to stand up or you were going to scare everyone when everyone crowded around you to take the picture.
Right.
What happened was Nisha came out with a drink in her hand, solo cup.
Yeah.
And was like, I don't like you, pointing at what she thinks is the mannequin. And they're like, okay, let everybody get ready for the picture. And she runs over and sits in what she thinks is the mannequin's lap.
Yeah.
Right? But you are the one sitting in the chair. So what you did, and I'm paraphrasing, but what you had done was like, you basically hugged her. You grabbed her.
Yeah.
And she screamed.
Yeah.
So loud, and she crushed the solo cup. And she was like frozen with fear.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Unfortunately, Sanjay hadn't started recording the video yet because wasn't ready for that to happen.
Oh, that was so unfortunate.
But he got the aftermath of it, and everyone, I was like, oh my God. It was such a good scare. And to this day, whenever I bring it up and I tell her about it, she's like, I blacked out.
Yeah,
that's what
she doesn't remember at all.
Complete memory discharge of that moment. It's like gone.
Control Alt Delete. Just fucking get rid of that memory. I don't need it.
It was so funny, but that's essentially what this would be.
Yeah. I remember that, like, as soon as she sat on my lap, I'm like, there is no way she does not know that this is a bunch of newspapers, because I have an erection, and it's... I'm just kidding. It was too cold for that.
Oh my god! Actually, it was really warm that year. Totally opposite.
I know. I was just saying it was cold to just make the listeners
make your erection go away.
Make my erection go away.
But yeah, that was such a good moment. I remember that to this day. That was awesome. That party was amazing.
I'm a big fan of the dupe. I actually had one person come by, and they thought I was a mannequin. So they got up like close for a picture, and then I moved just slightly, she freaked the fuck out. That was
You've got
probably
some stairs there. I'd say that, like people jumping back and like maybe
like usually well, that's the thing is I'm very careful about that. Like there was one kid that almost tripped over the pumpkin I had at my feet, so I made sure I moved that out of the way.
Yeah.
But a lot of times what happens is people are on the sidewalk. And they walk up and they're like, is that? And I'll move early because the thing is there's so much light up there that the second they come up, they're going to see my eyes. They'll see skin and eyes. They'll be like, fuck.
Dude, you know what you should do and what I've done before?
I know exact pantyhose or something? No. What?
That's a different story, my friend.
Oh, no.
It's not what I expected you to say.
I know. But it makes sense. Like
that was so
the stocking
random.
cat, man.
That was so random. Oh my god, that threw me right off.
I gotcha.
What? Yeah. Pantyhose, right? What? No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say sunglasses. All you need are sunglasses because that's what I wear under this mask over here one year to make the whole thing. I mean, you can still see perfectly. Like you get lighter sunglasses, not too dark on the tint. But then they don't see your eyes.
Or you can put on some pantyhose, and then you can put on a mask. The pantyhose are just for you.
Oh my god! What the hell? That is not. That veered in such a strange direction. I completely lost my train of thought. Like completely unexpected. Anyway,
that was entertaining. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, so you could try the sunglasses, or you can throw on some pantyhose if you like. If that's your.
It's empowering.
If that's what you're into. But yeah, what the hell was I gonna say now? I'm completely lost. So you had this setup. When you say you have the music playing, what are you playing?
So I should actually give. It's on my phone. I'll put a link in the description. What I had some of John Carpenter's themes going through. I had the Halloween 2018 soundtrack going too because that's
the whole thing, or you just play the whole thing?
No, I just ran through the whole thing.
Okay,
for a time.
It's pretty. It's a pretty atmospheric. Soundtrack.
It's great. Then there's another one. It's like Halloween. It's basically a bunch of covers of all kinds of different themes, like Halloween themes, like Exorcist, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. But they're slightly remixed. And then there's also kind of like you'll hear some growls or like
like sound effects.
Yeah, some sound effects and stuff. It's the dopest. I found it last Halloween. And I'm like, I just basically played it on.
Very cool. Yeah,
it was great.
Very cool. So what I would suggest to add to that mix, which I think is an underrated John Carpenter movie, it's getting up there slowly year after year, is The Fog.
Oh, dude, that was the very first one I pulled from his anthology album.
I love The Fog. Not just the theme though, like the entire. I listened to that at work. Like the entire soundtrack for The Fog is so good. That theme is amazing. But it's all very atmospheric.
Right.
So that's why I like listening to it while I'm working.
I really liked The Fog.
I really like it too. It's a very traditional ghost story, but it's also one of the movies I like to watch around fall because it has that fall sort of campfire ghost story feeling. I love that movie, but that's a good one to throw on if you're looking for atmosphere.
Didn't they remake that with Tom Welling at some point?
We don't like to talk about that.
Is it not good? I never saw it. Oh man,
it is not good.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't hate movies typically, but I did not like that movie. It was not good. It was not good, and Tom Welling was not good in that movie. Nobody. The only thing that kind of there was a redemptive quality to it was some of the special effects, not the fog, but the actual the ghosts in the fog. Some of them looked kind of gnarly and kind of cool. But other than that, it is not a good movie.
I gotta revisit. I gotta find it. I'd be interested in seeing it.
I saw it strictly out of like, I like The Fog a lot. They made a remake. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And it is not good. Whereas The Thing, 2012 or whatever,
yeah,
like that,
the prequel.
That one, I don't think it was a great movie either, but I actually want to revisit that this winter because I saw it in the theater and I'm like, that was basically just a remake of The Thing.
They retreaded a lot of the same moments.
So you've seen it, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I actually liked it.
I
thought it was a good little setup. It had a couple of good moments in it. It's definitely not nearly the quality film as the original. It doesn't have as many good characters or moments.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as original as the original, really, but it also does have some kind of neat
But the
stuff.
original is a remake as well.
Yes,
right?
That's true. Yeah.
So
it's second original.
Yeah, yeah.
The Carpenter version, not the the Thing from Another World is the original. Or did they just call
it? Is the Thing from Another World, and the original story is Halt, Who Goes There? I think that's what the original story is called. But yeah, like that movie, I actually feel like I will revisit. I'll revisit that movie.
Plus, I just like her. What is it, Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah,
I like her.
There's a few good actors in that movie. Joel Edgerton. Yeah, he's in that as well. But they have some physical effects they did for that movie. Then they sort of painted over. I heard there was a similar thing that happened with Benicio del Toro's The Wolfman.
Yeah,
where they had done a lot of practical effects for the movie, and then they decided to go digital later. But I remember thinking some of the digital effects were not bad, not awful, but the one thing that makes The Thing so special is the practical effects. So I that was one thing that I felt a little detached, was a lot of the digital effects monster makeup stuff. I rewatched a ton of Halloween movies this year. I did The Wolfman. Well, I just mentioned that because
it's on Netflix now. Actually, I just did The Wolfman too.
Yeah,
recently. That film gets a little bit more hate than I think it deserves.
Yeah, it's I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with that movie. I like it, but I also understand why people don't like it. But I also don't like it because I agree with a lot of the criticisms on that movie.
Yeah,
but like Sleepy Hollow, I watched Hocus Pocus Halloween Night. Tales of Halloween. Oh man, there's one movie I need to talk about really quick.
Do it.
Scooby-Doo Returns to Zombie Island.
Oh, you were telling me. Yeah.
It's the second movie. It is, again, I don't hate movies. I don't think that people should hate movies because, like you can just move on to the next thing, and why waste the time? But I'm very close to hating this movie. It was it basically undoes some stuff from the last one, and it's a sequel to what I think is like I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan. I love that stuff. It's a sequel to what is like, I think, like the best Scooby-Doo anything ever produced, Zombie Island. And it's not good. They take an approach to the material that really cheapens it.
Yeah.
It cheapens what they had set up in the first movie.
That sucks.
And that sucks. But, obviously, the original isn't going anywhere. I just, this is a movie I'll never watch again. I'll just pretend it never happened. That's kind of like where I am with Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island. It was it's just basically, I mean, I'm not ruining a whole lot. They basically make it out to be some like actors are involved. Like the whole setup, the whole thing becomes a setup.
Oh.
Whereas the original movie actually had real mythology, real monsters, real ghosts. And that was the big change for that movie. It's because they were always fake all the time, and then they happen to be real here. So this was just not good. And I don't even think I need to spend any more time talking about it. It's not good. There's other great Scooby-Doo stuff.
Yeah.
Don't watch this one.
Hey, are you excited about The Mandalorian?
We should talk about that because I haven't even seen the Mandalorian trailer. I haven't seen the new Star Wars trailer. I'm done.
You haven't seen the Mandalorian trailer? See, that I think you would actually be on board with. The reason I bring this up is for the listeners is because what were we talking about? We were talking about something Star Wars, and then you're like, I'm so bored. Oh, I sent you an article that basically was having projections being the lowest opening for whatever the next fucking Star Wars movie is. I forgot what it's called.
That's good. I remember we said
Skywalker's Return of the Skywalkers.
I don't even know what the movie's called.
Yeah, fucking Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Return of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
Walking
Begins.
in the sky begins.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that because I'm like, fuck The Force Awakens. No, wait, was that the second?
The second one was
Force Awakens was the first one.
The first one. I agree with that statement. I agree. And that was another good episode actually.
Yeah, it was a very good episode.
Oh gosh, what was it called? Revenge of No.
I legit
remember the
forgot.
names of these Star Wars movies now.
They're all that's the problem, man. I can tell you all of the original trilogy with little to no thought. The Force Awakens episode. Let me see. I'm curious because I want to make sure I know. Fucking Solo was better than.
I actually like Solo.
Yeah. Where the fuck is it? Why is this so hard?
Why can't I remember the name of
the
the
Rise of
movie?
Skywalker is the next one.
What's
Which
the
is stupid
second
name.
movie?
Force Awakens.
Oh God.
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Okay.
Which was the last fucking Star Wars. Yeah, it was just not. I don't know.
You didn't.
Force Awakens I liked more than the Last Jedi. That was my claim to fame in that episode. Which going back to it, I don't know if that is. Yeah, that is true. I hated the Last Jedi.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I liked
know.
The Last Jedi much more than The Force Awakens because The Force Awakens was just. I remember coming out of that movie, I was like, that was that was like, the thing.
Yeah.
2000. I don't know what year the prequel thing came out, but I mean, I just felt like I tried to watch a, poor copy of an original movie.
Right. We don't need to retread this debate. Just check out episode X, whatever it is.
We don't even know
I'll put
what
it in
the
the
episode
show notes.
But it's an interesting that you had said that, right? Like you had sent that article over.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my brother about this a couple of weeks ago, and when the trailer came out, he's like, "Have you seen the trailer?" I'm like, "I haven't seen it. I actually don't even have an interest. I'm so burnt out on Star Wars."
Yeah.
And it's a flood of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I'm just done, man. Like I might go see it. I
got a group of my boys from Mississauga that love it, and they'll want to go whatever day it is. I'm down. I'm always down to go and see it. Like I'm gonna see it, but like I'm definitely less like caring about any of this. That being said, The Mandalorian, I'm considering getting the Disney Plus service just to watch that and then call it a day.
So I think I saw the very first like teaser trailer for The Mandalorian, and it looked good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
It looks it looks like kind of like a spaghetti western almost, which I'm kind of down for.
Yeah.
And then there's also in the newest trailer that came out, there's a shot of Bill Burr. And dude, he is firing, like he basically rounds a corner. He's got two guns and is firing, and then he's also got like a Predator shoulder-mounted cannon, and that's firing too. I'm like, fuck yeah! And that's the only shot of him, and I'm like, I'll pay $6.99 to stream that, so I can marathon that whole shit in a weekend, and then just cancel the service because I really don't need Disney.
Bill Burr in a Star Wars movie. Now I think I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but that's just a weird. That is a weird, crazy world we live in where Bill Burr's in it. And I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk shit about like a lot of big blockbuster movies.
Nerd culture and all that shit. He shits on it a lot. That being said, I think he shits on it more for the giggles than anything.
Sure, yeah,
but at the same time, what's kind of interesting is I feel like I'm seeing a trend in including very big name comedians in movies to try and I would assume to try and garner a different audience than you would probably get for a specific movie.
Do you think that is like a reaction to how tough it is to be a comedian nowadays? Do you think they're like, we just need to branch out and get an audience in a different way because being a comedian
No.
so
I'm
difficult?
saying the reverse. I'm saying that comedians are so hot nowadays, especially the big names.
Oh, they want to bring him in.
That they're bringing him in. So he's in this. Tom Segura has been in what was it called? Instant Family, and he was promoting the hell out of it on his podcast and stuff like that. The only reason I watched that fucking movie was because he was in it.
Yeah.
And then he's also in some horror movie that just came out recently called Countdown. I think it's called Countdown.
Oh, the
app that tells you when you're gonna die. He's in it. He's basically like an IT support guy at like a fix your phone kind of place.
That's funny.
And I'm like, yo, I'll see that just because he's in it.
Interesting. Okay, like so you think it's the opposite. It's that comedians are a huge commodity now.
Yes,
like they're bringing audiences.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's a hard time to be a comedian right now. I mean, I think it's always been a hard time to be a professional, anything when it comes to like comedy, actor. Those are always hard to become really, really good at it and be working at that.
Yeah.
Without a second day job. But I think that there's so many optics now on comedians with Netflix basically putting up fucking weekly comedy specials nowadays.
That's right. And they're events too.
They are events. Some of them are huge. Events. Yeah. Some of them are huge.
That's
right. And like with all of this stuff happening and all of these comedians becoming more prevalent, they're like, well, fuck, these people are all watching comedy specials on Netflix. This Tom Segura guy is pretty famous. Let's fucking put him in a movie.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I think that makes way more sense than what I said.
Yeah, yeah. Like Bill Burr's not like, I need to get a better audience. I'm going to go to a Star Wars film. Like, no, he's not doing that shit. He's huge.
It could also work in his favor, though.
Huh?
I mean, it's going to work in his favor.
Oh, for
There's going to be people that see Bill Burr in this movie that have never seen a comedy special in their life. Right?
Absolutely.
So I think it certainly works both ways. But I think you're probably right in that it's the studios recognizing that comedians are huge. They're bringing in audiences, big audiences, and they're probably reaching out to these comedians rather than the comedians feeling like they need to reach a new audience.
Right. But in the end, it that much.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. In the end, it works both ways, though, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They'll definitely garner some more audience off of their appearances, depending on what the role is.
Here's a crazy thing that I was reading. Sorry, so it's slightly related. Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Now I think back and I'm like, that makes sense. That's Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I've seen that movie once.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just like a piece of weird trivia where I was like, oh, Taika Waititi was in Green Lantern.
I remember him talking about it. He's like, I remember like one scene where I had to react to him in his CG suit, which I couldn't see when we were recording.
Yeah.
And they just kept on doing take after take. And then at some point he just yelled, "Green!" And that was the take they used. Something along those lines is the story. But like,
now I have to watch this movie again because I
don't remember him speaking very highly of the experience. He was just, it seemed like, what I walked away from when reading that article was it sounded like nobody knew what the fuck they were doing or what kind of film they were making, which is evident after watching it.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, Taika Waititi is a comedian first.
He was one of my favorite parts of the film. I thought he was actually.
He was playing the mechanic.
Mechanic.
What's the character's name in the comics? I forgot.
I
forgot. But yeah, no. So sorry, it was just like a random connection there.
Yeah. They just did something. I think they did something on Instagram, or I don't know what it was, but they were talking about because Ryan Reynolds and him are in a movie right now. I don't know what it is, or they're making a movie.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Because he has that movie Jojo Rabbit that's out now.
Right, yeah. So he's not in that. I think it's his next project. He's working with Ryan Reynolds, and they had a thing with the other two actors that are in the film. So there's 4 of them on camera, and they're talking about like, yeah, I've always wanted to work with Taika, and he's made such great work, and this and that. And he's like, man, Ryan and I have been, talking. We've always wanted to collaborate. And you see the other two actors like, you guys weren't you in Green Lantern together? And they're like, no, I don't remember that at all.
What's Green Lantern?
Yeah. They were playing it up for laughs more than anything. But like,
that's funny.
Yeah, I like both those guys, man. Canadian treasure, that one. Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
The Joker's making a ton of money. I haven't seen it yet. We should do a review.
Dude, I'm so behind. I gotta see that. I've got to see Terminator. Let's
talk about Terminator 1 second.
I don't want to talk about Terminator.
Terminator Dark. One piece of news.
Fine.
From me.
Okay.
not a piece of news that anybody else would find fascinating other than you, is that Terminator Dark Fate is just as good as Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Look, man, if you want to compare Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like Joker is slightly better.
They both have a 69% fresh tomato rating.
Ooh. So it's a romantic film.
I mean, I don't think so.
No?
I don't know. I think it's really funny. A lot of people like to really shit on Terminator 3. I know we've talked about this before, but it's funny that they've both ended up with the same Rotten Tomatoes score.
Wait, no, dude. Dark Fate is now at 70%.
Oh, it changed. I checked this
Actually,
morning.
and even better, Terminator Dark Fate is officially more fresh than Joker.
And Joker's at 69?
69.
You're getting a lot of 69s here.
69. The Irishman's at 97%. Go fuck yourself. Actually, okay, Motherless Brooklyn. Have you seen any of the trailers for that?
I think I saw a trailer with Ed Norton, right?
Yeah, Ed Norton. He directed and I think produced it.
Okay.
He was just on Joe Rogan, actually.
Okay, yeah.
And I listened to that.
Oh, yeah. I saw a thing pop up where he's talking about the Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah. It was a pretty short clip. He just basically it sounded like he was a big comic book fan or he was posturing as one. Because there was a lot of ums and ahs. Like I didn't get a feeling like he was telling the truth.
Okay.
Like, I felt like he'd read a couple of books for the role and that was it. But
yeah.
Like it's not like when you listen to what's that guy's name? He played Deathstroke, or he was going to play Deathstroke. I still don't. Joe
Manganiello.
Joe Manley. Joe Manley. When he talks
more
about
like a Joe Mangy.
He's a huge nerd, and when he talks about nerdy shit, I'm like, this guy is a
Dungeons and
nerd.
Dragons nerd.
Dungeons and Dragons. I'm pretty sure he was talking about comic books at one point. Like when I heard him talking about stuff like that, I'm like, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
But like Patton Oswalt, when he starts talking about it, like, dude, this guy gets it.
Patton Oswalt, poor guy. Blade Trinity. Oh.
His wife also died, if you want to talk about poor guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. That guy's been through some shit.
Well, when did that happen?
Fairly recently, in the last few years, actually.
Really?
But
because I hear him all the time on this really great podcast I listen to called the HP Podcraft, where they review weird fiction from like whenever, like usually like turn of the century stuff, like Edgar Allan Poe, like Arthur Conan Doyle stories. But obviously they started with H.P. Lovecraft. But anyone who was inspired by him or is in that vein of storytelling. But Patton Oswalt's on the show a lot.
That's cool.
And
yeah, I've listened.
He is funny as fuck. He makes me laugh consistently. That guy. Really funny, really witty, really energetic, but not in an off-putting way.
No.
So I definitely enjoy his stuff. And sorry. I mean, way to throw a wrench in my whole poor guy Blade Trinity thing. Now all I can think about is the fact that his wife died.
Nah, okay. The Lighthouse is fucking 92%.
So those are the two movies I have to see this week. So on Tuesday, I think I'm going to check out Joker, and maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to check out the Lighthouse.
Zombieland 2. I also need to see.
I saw that on home video, and I think I'm going to continue the Zombieland trend.
Oh, you're going to wait it out?
I'll just wait it out.
Really? I really liked the first Zombieland.
Not that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was more of like, it wasn't something I felt like I needed to see right away, but I will watch.
I guess. I fucking love that film. Like, I've watched Zombieland a lot.
I've only seen it once.
I have a good time with it.
I've only seen it once. But I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. It was
people compare it to Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, I don't see the comparison.
No.
Like, and when I say they compare it, I mean they say it's kind of like a low-grade Shaun of the Dead. And even that I don't like really see.
Very different.
Yeah, I agree, right?
Different.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels definitely, I don't know, I think it feels different.
It's a comedic zombie movie. That's basically the only comparison between the two.
Yeah.
I never felt like the relationships of the characters in this are very different. The zombies in this are very different.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's very different. Double Tap doesn't look nearly as good as the first one because they're bringing in a bunch of weird ass fucking characters.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. Got to stay true to the team. Irishman, I haven't been able to see, nor do I give much.
So let's switch gears here a little bit. MK11, we played our first few hours of that.
We did,
and stellar game so far.
Stellar. Have you played any since?
Yeah, I played yesterday for maybe an hour or two. I was doing some towers at a time in MK11, and it's just a a complete package of a game. It's overwhelming, actually. I'm kind of like, I don't know what the hell to do first.
Yeah.
So I just picked something and like went right into it. Like I picked the towers. They do have some kind of co-op tower thing going on, so we should definitely try that.
Do that after this. I played. I actually just finished the story mode today.
Oh, you did? So I played through some of that, but I spent most of the time on the towers.
The story mode takes long, but I mean, it's only like, I think per chapter. I think there's 12 chapters, and there's about 4 fights in each.
Yeah.
So it's not like a ton of fights that you gotta get through, and usually the difficulty on the fights isn't bad. Chronica's a bit of a bitch to work her ass through.
I've been playing as the collector.
Okay.
I just love the collector's design.
Yeah.
It's super cool. And so I did one of the arcade tower where you could get to see his ending. So I did play Chronica.
Yeah.
Because she's the boss, and it's funny. Because NetherRealm has not let go of that cheesy, completely lopsided final boss battle where they're like,
so
this
bad.
boss has armor all the time. Or, this boss, when you try to juggle them, they don't juggle. They just kind of fall over, or they don't pop at all.
Yeah.
Right? It's so funny. I'm like...
And her moves are fucking crazy. She's
one
spitting shit out all the time.
She's like rocks and like... Yeah. And then at one point, she throws a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex at you.
Yeah,
It comes running across the screen.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That is a NetherRealm Mortal Kombat trademark.
Yeah.
Like that thing. And... it's so lopsided and can be frustrating, but they'll never get rid of it. That is a staple of the Mortal Kombat franchise, I think.
Yeah.
Just how difficult that can be.
Frustrating.
But on normal it was beatable. I played her maybe 3 or 4 times until I figured out like how to. I basically had to cheese her.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, to cheese
That's
her.
usually how that goes.
But if I think if I get better, I could actually beat her on a higher difficulty level by just dishing out more consistent damage. I'm just not doing as much consistent damage.
The problem is you can't get any juggle combos or anything like that, so you can't extend anything. It's basically just like one combo with a hard ender, and even then, she's not going down for any hard knockdowns. It's just a couple of moves that'll actually pop her up into the air.
Yeah, that's right.
Like an uppercut, and like I think I Liu Kang's kick knocks her off her feet.
Also, recognizing her moveset and knowing when to block. Like
yeah,
that's the other thing.
Definitely.
It's like you can block a lot of the moves. But yeah, no, I just kind of smiled when I saw that happening. I'm like, yeah, this is annoying, but it's nostalgic all at the same time.
Yeah, right.
But really great character design. I don't know if you looked at. There's a tournament mode selector, and I think that the tournament mode gets rid of all of the armor, piece collecting, customization stuff, and it's a standard mode for tournaments to be run on. So when you play in that mode, everyone's on an even keel. Everything's unlocked, though. So if you look at all of the variations for the characters, all of their dope-ass armor is unlocked. So you get to see what they look like.
Yeah.
And you can play as them, because if you want to play in tournament mode. And the costumes are so fucking cool, man.
Show me.
They're all so cool. Like, I looked at the collectors. I was looking at katanas and Rain.
Yeah. Wait, Rain?
Sorry, not Rain. Sorry.
Noob.
No, Blood.
Scarlet.
Yeah. Scarlet's, oh man, it's so good. They've really outdone themselves on the designs. I wish they went I wish they went more crazy with the designs and I think Injustice has insane designs for like Injustice 2.
Yeah.
But they do maybe I just don't see it right now because the pieces I'm collecting are kind of like mundane and I haven't really played a lot. But man, if you can get up to that tournament mode thing, it looks so cool. Like they've done a great job.
I'd have to look. Great job. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm still learning as to like how to unlock shit. Did you play in the crypt at all yet?
I did.
That was fun. I like that.
It's kind of fun. Yeah, it is kind of fun. Like the third person, you get Shao Kahn's hammer and you start like breaking walls down and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to spending more time with that game.
Agreed. All right, you got me excited to play this. You want to end this?
Yeah, I guess we're through. Episode
Do you have anything
50. else? No. Let me see. Creep Show, but I'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, let's do that. You know what? I've actually got to see it.
Yeah,
I've seen the original, but I'd be interested to see some of the new ones. So maybe we can actually talk about the whole show.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then we've
man.
got a couple of things coming up, right? We have Joker, and if you want to review The Lighthouse, I'd love to. I mean, I'm down with that, but it's going to be a weird one. It's a weird movie.
What's it about?
Two guys in a lighthouse.
Cool. So,
yeah,
romantic relationship.
Yeah, this is another 69%. If you know what I mean. No, actually, it's got what's the rating? It got a 96 rating.
It's like 97.
Oh, it's 97. That joke almost worked. Yeah, I'd be down to review that, but it's a weird movie. But I think there's games like I'd love to do a formal review of Mortal Kombat 11. I want to get back into some of the reading stuff, because the other thing that's coming out that I'm really excited about is Doctor Sleep.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I wanted to do a Shining episode where we talk about the miniseries.
Right, yeah.
And talk about the miniseries in the book.
True, yeah.
And,
I got to find that miniseries. Sudeep was just asking us about that as to actually where to find it. So we'll have to try and find a legal means of obtaining this.
Probably the library's got it.
Yo, yeah.
Toronto Public Library's probably got it.
True that. Yeah, that makes sense.
That was another thing I was doing a lot of in the first few episodes of this show. Was promoting the library. I'm like, guys, get out there.
Yeah,
get to
we're
the
sponsored
library.
by the Toronto Library.
Yeah, but not even remotely sponsored by them.
No,
we just wanted to get people out there, get a library card, get those digital audio books. Man, just use it. Toronto's got one of the most robust library systems in the world.
The world, he says.
Yeah, in the world, man.
Big claim. You heard it here first, folks.
And I'm sure you can hear it in other places that are more convincing than the Welcome to Your Doom show with 6 consistent listeners. But, if you are listening, it is true. They are robust. They can get you what you need. If you see it, they'll ship it to you. They ship it to your, home location and all of that. And the digital stuff is great because they got the digital books and they got the audiobooks. So anyway, I've said all that before many times. It just reminded me of the fact that I've come full circle in episode 50. I'm saying it again.
Do it.
But yeah, I think I'm going to check the library, see if the Shining miniseries is there. That's one thing I didn't watch this year. I usually watch the first 4 or 5.
Treehouse of Terrors?
Yeah, the Treehouse of Terror episodes on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll catch up with them.
I ended up catching up. I watched my annual Halloween screening after Halloween because I didn't have fucking time to do it.
Yeah, so I watched a ton of stuff leading up to Halloween, but I usually the one I watch is Trick or Treat. I watched that the next day. I watched it on Friday. Mm-hmm. And there's one more I wanted to watch called The Lady in White, but and then there's just we're almost into the Christmas season. I'm gonna start watching really shitty Christmas movies pretty soon. And 80 different versions of the Christmas Carol.
Another favorite fucking episode. I really liked the Kurt Russell Christmas one. I can't remember what the name of it. A Christmas something. Christmas Kurt
Chronicle.
Christmas Kurt. Oh,
Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, that was also another episode I actually enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, that was fun. That was last year, right?
Yeah. That was last year.
Man,
we've been doing this for almost over 2 years now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I think the first episode came out July 2017.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Holy.
Yeah, man. So we've definitely done more than 50 episodes. It's just
that's right.
We did Dewey Decimal. Yeah, this has been episode 50. It's been kind of fun to kind of retread things, I think.
Yeah, I hope it's fun for people that are listening.
I'm sure that most of our listeners have been consistent listeners from the beginning. And if not, if we talked about anything that you haven't listened to, go back to the old episodes. Check them out.
Yeah. And I mean, at least we got my feelings out about gender reveal parties, which is nice.
That was so
I'm glad that I got to share that with our 6.
Listen, we're going to throw a gender reveal party, and you are going to change your mind about gender reveal parties.
I'm sure I'll enjoy the party.
Yeah.
Let's just have a party.
Yeah, we're going to have one.
Sure.
And then I'm going to tell you what the gender is. And you know how I'm going to tell you?
If you slap me, look at that hand. Honestly, you're gonna knock my head
callous, man,
right off my shoulders. If you,
I was doing pull-ups at the gym today, and then I looked at my hand. I'm like, ugh. That's why Nisha wants me to wear gloves.
That's
because these goddamn mitts.
That reminds me of that scene from Sin City.
Yeah.
It's like, what does he say? He's going through all the weapons.
He's going through all the mittens.
he's going through his. Oh yeah, he's going through his mitten collection.
He's going through
Absolutely,
his mitten
yeah. He's
collection.
just like,
I've got my gun. I've got my barbed wire. I've got my
knife.
my
or whatever.
knife. I've got my gloves and my mitts.
It's just his hands.
And it's just his hands like this. I'm like, oh shit,
Mickey Rourke. So Mickey Rourke, his entire body looks like your calloused hand.
He's a walking callus.
Yeah, it's as if like somebody was using him to do pull-ups and then they pulled him off the bar and they're like, ugh.
Sorry,
man.
Mick.
Yeah.
What's crazy too is like back in the day, he was like regarded as like the Hollywood beauty, like. But I think what was it, a motorcycle accident or something
Was
like
it?
that? Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
No, it wasn't a motor. Sorry, I'm mixing him up with somebody else. But he got into like a boxing career too, and his face got really fucked up.
He's got something
Plastic
going on.
surgery
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
and
something's going on.
There's been a
up
lot of
there
stuff
with his face.
Yeah.
I just remember that scene from the first Expendables. He kills that one scene where what's he doing? Is he like airbrushing something? He's painting something, and he's telling Sylvester Stallone about like his wife or his daughter or something like that in that scene.
I can't remember. It's been
It's
so
a
long.
great scene. I remember
Yeah.
that. But yeah, there's something wrong with his face. Yeah.
I feel like I thought he had like a motorcycle accident, but I guess you know who I'm thinking of is what's his name? Predator 2, fucking Gary Busey. I don't know why Predator 2 was the first movie I thought of Gary Busey.
That would be my first movie. Or Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon,
Mr. Joshua.
Under Siege.
Under Siege. Fucking horse teeth. I was watching The Frighteners.
Yeah.
And good old Jake Busey's in there. He's got his dad's teeth.
Real? Yeah, he does have his dad's
He's got his dad's teeth.
Yeah, he basically got fucked up playing boxing.
Playing boxing
Playing
like the
boxing.
game. He's playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah, except he was not Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He was on the receiving end of Mike Tyson.
Yeah, so
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mickey Rourke. How did we get here?
I have no idea. You
all
said
right.
Expendables?
No, I said
That came
Expendables
after.
because we were talking about Mickey Rourke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why were we talking about
I'll have
Mickey
to play
Rourke?
that back.
Sin City. These
Oh,
mitts.
yeah, my mitts. There we go.
Yeah, so whenever you look at your hands at the gym, I just feel like my
I do
mitts.
too. That's why anytime somebody says anything about my hands, I always go like this. Cup them and make them move them around. It's literally
man.
that. So thank you to Mickey Rourke for that, because
Um,
I wouldn't do that if it wasn't for you.
That's right.
Him.
There's a couple of comic book series I also want to review too. So I want to try and diversify a little bit. I know we do a lot of movies, movie reviews and stuff. So now that we all know how to read, I feel like we should just be reading, a little bit more.
True dat.
So,
yeah. Do a little reading.
Yeah. Cool.
Words.
Episode 50. It's been a lot of fun. I hope whoever's listening to this got, has found something that they've liked on the show, and we've in the very least we've made you laugh at least once in over 60 to 70 hours of us talking. So
Probably about that.
yeah. All right, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up. This has been Justin,
This is Atul.
and thank you very much for listening to another 50 episodes.
Yeah, to another 50 episodes.
I have no drink, so Mike. All right,
I have a
take care, folks.
See ya.
Bye.
You can just do that and just move the mic instead of modulating it. How long are you gonna go like that?
I'm gonna put on pantyhose and keep it going. Gotcha, bitch.